The show features adults using adult language and discussing mature topics. You have been warned.
Nice. Hi, everybody. I'm tired.
Hey, hi, tired. I'm Vex.
Hi.
Goodbye.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Corruption Crew. It's been 2 weeks. Real quick, before we get started, shout out to Sirenscape. They're super cool. The link is above someone's head.
Vex, aka Passion's head.
$22 every other month for all of their fantasy, sci-fi, and board game sound sets. It's super cool. Go check it out. We're using the beta player that lets you play it on everybody's system all at once, so you don't have to like try and figure out where everybody is. So yeah, does anybody want to recap what the hell happened last time?
Danbo.
That's all that needs to be said.
We found out many informations about the tyrant.
Many informations.
Yes, at least
Danbo.
two of them.
And some of them might be important, maybe.
Yeah, the main two were the Stonecutter, which we know about what it does and where it is, vaguely. And then the Twilight Citadel, which is where the tyrant may be, somewhere in the grid.
We discussed maybe trying to get the hunter to kill him with us.
Predator.
Or Predator.
The Predator.
Yeah, the Predator said he wants to die, so maybe he can use the Stonecutter, which is buried near the Crooked Saloon in the Deadlands.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, something with Demona happened. I didn't follow that entirely because it's her thing. Something
And
about
Demona
her...
shot a message that was for her and ruined it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. They were practicing some custom spells or something, and I sent an animal messenger, and then Demona's just like, disintegration at 10th level, and yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
it's about her master.
last time the group met with Danbo, a time-traveling Henshin, guardian of time, who gave them all sorts of information, what he could about the tyrant. They know a little bit more about where this individual came from, what they're like. They also know that one of the most powerful weapons that is nearby is a ancient dagger called Stonecutter that is said that when you use it to kill something, it kills the wielder and whoever it is attacking infallibly. Both will die. You also were talking about where you might try and locate Lycosta, the... Sorry guys, it's been a long week for me.
The big robot.
Not quite big. It's
not big?
Zord. It's giant spider size, which is...
It's a horse-sized spider.
Yeah,
Oh, I was
not
picturing like...
medium size, not horse size.
I mean, horses can it's a coney size.
Like a human-sized
Sword
spider
with
is
an
still
X, not-
huge.
Sword with an X, not with a Z, I think.
So what you're saying
it's not a
is,
Megazord.
So what you're saying is it's just an Australian spider.
I thought one of those robots that people sit inside and pilot. But no.
Those ones are a little special. Lycosta's not one of them.
Are you thinking of Tachicomas?
No, nobody's in those.
Yeah.
We can talk about that
let's-
later. Describe how I'm wrong.
Whew.
Someone get a DM a cup of coffee stat.
I'm so tired. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. I'm not that sleepy. I just can't stop yawning. You guys also, let's see. Onyx is planning on this day is going to be submitting her script to Susan for approval before her show airs tomorrow.
Yeah, that I absolutely totally wrote and like real. I completely didn't forget about that.
Also feels very Onyx.
For what it's worth, Onyx has a full day in game to get that done before the actual show airs. And we left off with Demona reading this message that Danbo gave to Gruk. Gruk then gave this note to a bird and said, "Go find Demona." So this bird flew off dutifully to the Demon Dogs HQ. One of Demona's guards was like, "Sir, ma'am, you have a message," and when told to release the bird, Demona used it as target practice and rolled a crit. And the bird imploded. And because it was fire, a portion of the note did as well. So she was left holding a partially burnt scrap of paper with some of the details there, some still missing.
It's fine.
And I am actually going to send that to you now. Saege.
It's more of a fun challenge if you don't have all the pieces, like a puzzle.
Well, I mean, would you expect anything less of Demona than to shoot an incoming projectile?
I'd expect her not to shoot the messenger.
Well, when you're on like a practice range, you only point in one direction. So if it came from behind, and that's
It came from behind where there was no direction to be pointing the gun.
Okay, this is not a regular fire range. This is a spell range. The spells can come and go in any direction.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was a range literally made of fire. A fire range.
This is a fire range. You cook on it.
Get out. Disadvantage.
Hell yeah. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll just grapple something and I'll mitigate that disadvantage immediately.
Kiss my ass, Vex. So.
Yeah, but the last word is tits.
What?
Me.
On this message that she gave me from this horribly important person, the last word is TIT blank blank S. The last word is tits.
This is very fitting for me.
I like to think Demona's like super serious, you know, running this like mercenary guild and just like tits.
I apologize. That was, I should have been muted.
No apologies for that.
No, I thank
It's
you
gold.
because if that
Tits
ever
are always
was,
welcome.
somebody would have pointed that out to me.
What you're saying is I would have pointed it out the moment I see that.
Yes, that is indeed what I am saying.
My eyes are 100% drawn to tits.
Anyway.
She's definitely going to keep that that message on her person.
So, where should we go first? Should we go get this weapon, or do you think we should go for this Lycosa?
We already decided last session when we were doing.
Oh,
I want to say at this
Lycosa.
point...
that's right.
You decided Lycosa.
That's right. We actually voted. That's right.
Well, no, we didn't vote as much as Pasha said we're doing this because the other thing has been sitting there for who knows how long.
We don't want to tip our hand that we know that it exists and where it is until we need it.
Exactly.
So La Costa is in Old Redami near the Master's grave, apparently, something like that, possibly.
So
That's what I wrote down. It must be
Danbo
true.
had suggested the couple of places where Lycosa might go. I want to say Passion. You did hear from.
I do have the rough area of where it was active too,
Yeah.
because
And Danbo had suspected that there is a chance that it might have sort of gravitated or just headed to where its old master was buried in Old Redami, so where Vermithrax would be buried. Or perhaps to where Vina is, and you guys know that Vina is still in or at least very near New Redami.
yeah, we'll go check out the grave first before bothering them. They seemed like they were having a good time with the last message.
I will say at this point it's getting towards evening because I think you guys did a whole bunch. So
Yes.
that may be a thing for in the morning.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Well, we're gonna wait until Onyx is done with her jury or her public service announcement.
Question: is Lycosa considered a creature or an object?
She might be a construct. Give me a second.
So, creature.
She would definitely be a construct or an object. One
Constructs
or the other.
don't count as creatures, if I
They-
remember.
Constructs do
Yeah.
count as creatures.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, there's the specific creature type that is called construct.
Yeah.
True.
I think he's asking specifically because of a spell or some
There's
mechanic.
the locate object and locate creature.
Mhm.
God.
Would I know? If I
The
wouldn't know, I'll take
sword
both.
is so long.
The Zords are all constructs. I do remember
Thank
that.
Yeah, it's a
I'm really
robotic
sorry.
ally.
I think I have to drop out. I don't know. I have a really hard time concentrating. I had a really tough day, and
All right.
I'm just really exhausted. I'm really
Well, I hope
sorry.
you feel better.
Yeah,
It's
you're
okay.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just too much right now.
Okay.
Sorry. Bye bye.
Anna's will have her
Bye.
big debut next time.
Yeah, I'm really
We'll,
sorry.
we'll flashback.
It happens. You're fine.
Yeah.
We won't fight
Um,
Susan until she gets back.
Not gonna fight
At the
Susan
minimum.
all.
At the minimum.
We will fight Susan until she gets back, and then she only fights Susan.
Then she can just headbutt Susan.
I feel
It'll
like
be
this
like
is
a
a good
certain
way for
recent
y'all to
episode of One
TPK.
Piece.
Yeah.
It is also changed from its original form to a construct. Yes, so it's a creature.
Yep.
Okay. And I
I'll
will
say that
adjust.
Passion could tell you that.
Yes.
I would have asked Passion, yeah. All right.
Yeah, passion. All right. Well,
Yes.
I guess we should rest first. And you know,
So is Demona spending the night in the apartment or on like the couch at the Demon Dogs HQ or what?
Well,
Or I
we
think you guys have like bunks, right?
She has an
Yeah.
apartment, doesn't she? Or
Well,
did it get blown up?
It was ice
Kind of
bomb,
got blown
yeah.
up.
Does cement count as stone?
It's millions of tiny stones. And technically
Why?
it's concrete. Cement is what's making the concrete
Because-
stick together.
Because of spells like merge with stone and whatnot.
Merge with stone, I'd allow it.
Okay. Ritual cast.
It's so like depending on the spell, if it says it doesn't work on like manufactured stone, concrete is absolutely manufactured.
It does not. It just says stone. So,
So yeah, I'll say the concrete. You can use concrete for merge with stone.
ooh. Note to self: make a concrete golem.
I'm just remembering that golem that just wrecked Gruk's shit that one
I
time.
know.
Hang on.
That was because
That
I was
was
out of
so
town.
fun.
If
I
you
had been out of town.
have an iron golem, if you have a stone golem and do meld with stone, are you a druid mech?
No, because I'm not
Technically,
controlling
no.
it.
And
don't think-
also, I wouldn't count that as stone because it is a creature.
yes. As a technically it doesn't count as stone.
What if the stone golem is carrying on its back a stone slate?
Then you could merge with the stone slate, not the stone golem.
It'd be like SpongeBob with the big muscular fish, and he's got Patrick on his back.
I'm just imagining you just like getting a stone golem now and just be like, hold this rock and go into the rock and just tell him to walk.
You could afford it.
Fastball special.
It's not gonna get tired.
No, I'm not.
Merge with a stone, chuck it.
No, I wouldn't make a stone. Druid. That's not really a druidic construct. But I do know of one. I might have to talk to
Well, I
Kat
didn't
later.
say you'd make it. You could just adopt it. I mean, you know of one.
Maybe the Demon Dogs could build one, like on commission.
You know how expensive golems are?
There.
We're rich.
You know how expensive golems are? Just because we're rich doesn't mean that it's not a huge amount of resources.
It would be a huge amount of resources.
Yeah, so
but like
it would be
50,000
be
gold.
less. The problem would not so much be getting the gold for the
takes
materials.
a long
the
time,
problem
doesn't it?
would be it's going to take a lot of time, and finding the manual to make it is going to be difficult because even though magic items are well known in this world, they're not like you can't just go to Walmart and pick up how to build a golem for dummies.
It uses up
doesn't
the
work
book
that
when
way.
you make it, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
Because
there are very
otherwise there
limited
might be one
numbers
at
of
a
them.
certain library.
Once every 100 years, I think, or something like that. Like there's magic in the book, if I remember right.
And you can only really use it once every 100
That,
years.
or it's the manuals that give you the permanent ability score bonus. That I'm thinking
I
of.
know the manual,
I'll-
manual of like increase your dex or whatever.
I'll look it up right now. It's fine.
So, the next morning, what do you guys want to do? Today's the day that Demona is supposed to be meeting with Kai, and also the day that at the end of this day you're finishing your 6th level spell.
Hey, I will be right back.
So the remaining 3 of you, the
Mhm.
plan was to go after like Costa, correct?
Yes.
Well, yeah. Though, like I said, like we're gonna end up more or less skipping to that because we wouldn't do that on the day that Onyx is doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably will. It's one of those things where it's like Saege isn't here, so we could have just jumped to Saege doing their thing, and then just kind of done. We can do a flashback up to Onyx next time.
Are we on the day of Onyx's big debut? Or is that like tomorrow?
No. Okay, so here, I'll do a quick recap.
Because I don't know what we would do before that if we knew we had to be back for that. I don't know how long it takes to get to Old Redami and how long we would be there doing.
Pretty quickly if we go fast enough.
I guess there's a bunch of teleporters in the group, isn't there?
Gruk, Demona.
Yeah, that's.
Passion can call for some help.
Can you call Lacosta? Like contact?
I can't call. It's not mine to call.
Is there like a repository where they're all connected to a switchboard?
I don't think so, because otherwise they would have called her already.
I mean, I assume the Henshins have something that they're almost equivalent to familiars in a way.
So, given a particular Henshin's like strength or effective level, I would say you could potentially reach out to your Zord across distances. None of you are tied to Lycosta, which is the issue, and also they've never given Lycosta. Lycosta hasn't been assigned to Henshin since Vermithrax, as far as Passion is aware. He was her last. Since then, she worked occasionally with Yost. Apparently, worked with some others, but she's pretty much a free agent. Partially because of the fact that she's not currently tied to a particular Henshin, and also just the fact that she's been doing covert stuff with Yost for a long time. Her signal is scrambled and hard to locate. She's trying to hide from literally everyone. So even Henshin Command is having trouble getting an actual read on her. Which is why it was kind of helpful that Ganbo was able to help, because Ganbo knows where she's been and where she will be. He doesn't need really to use GPS because he just knows where she'll be found.
All right.
And in the various different timelines, he had mentioned that she tends to head towards places of memories, like usually towards Redami areas.
All right. So yeah, we'll have to just do footwork for this one.
Would it be useful, or see, one of our goals is Twilight Citadel, but we don't know exactly where that is. Is that correct? Somewhere in the grid? I think that's basically all we know. I don't know if we have like a location
grid
for
or
that.
the virtual world. I want to say you guys know that it's in the virtual world.
Yeah, I think we were actually told that it
Yeah.
was.
Why don't I write down grid? I guess those are different.
They are.
Well, if we don't have a specific location and we do have free time before we have to go to a meeting, I think Cyberus could go to the library and see if there's anything in the records about the Twilight Citadel and what's its deal.
Good, yeah.
I mean, if that would provide us with like a specific coordinates, that would be helpful if we don't have them already. I don't really have anything else planned for the next, at least not until we go out to Older Dammy.
So, what areas would Lycosa possibly go, Passion? Do you know?
Well, maybe his grave. Maybe somewhere he spent time. I figure if I don't know. We'll just probably have to go wandering around. Maybe I know at least the grave is a good place to start. At least.
Is it a populated area? Maybe someone's seen her.
If she's trying to hide, then I highly doubt she would.
I didn't know if she was trying to hide.
She's trying to hide.
So there's not going to be a Lacoste Instagram account?
Probably not.
Not as crazy as that Barkley. They seem to be doing quite literally the opposite. Did any of you want to go to this beach party?
Let's leave them to do their thing. For now, we have more important stuff.
That's true.
I can't swim.
Trying to save Cat from a crossover.
I mean, why would they be going? Why are they going to the beach? They're just like so many more important things to do.
Everyone needs a break.
Well, they killed that Illithid guy, and That puts them one up on us.
We're probably also dealing with the whole problem of what's her name?
Prophet? No.
No,
Proclaimers.
no, that's a band. Try again.
Forerunners?
No, that's Halo.
Afterrunners.
Scotty, you know who what's her name is?
Two runners?
What are we talking about?
That's the
Callie's
question.
character. My brain is not functioning.
That is not
today.
who I thought we were talking about.
I had no idea who you were talking about. I was just bullshitting.
Hilariously, this
I was
has
thinking
shown
of
up in 2
proselytizer.
different games that were in Vex.
Yeah, the what's her name?
Yeah,
Callie?
Callie's character. Lyra.
Oh, Lyra.
that's her.
it was also in Saffron Academy.
That also pictures the Passion too, or Passion just calls her what's her name right now.
Yeah.
Oh, the betrayer.
Also, the Twilight Citadel is indeed in the grid,
Ah,
which is not the same as the virtual world.
my notes are in.
Gruk is going to spend an hour casting Find Familiar, and
Okay.
while he's doing that, and he's like, wherever familiars are at when they're not conjured, he talks to Jesse. He says, "Sorry, Jesse, I know this is not a form that you normally like, but I need a form that would be a little bit easier for you to travel back to me." And I change my raccoon into a hawk. And I have the hawk go to the
Yeah, as
grave.
you're like doing the 10-minute ritual, he's just sitting there like brushing all the dust on the floor into a little pile, dusts his hands off, starts cleaning himself, and then you turn him into a hawk and he just has wings.
He just preens himself a lot.
He can't
Yeah,
pick
but
up
is
his
very
cookie anymore.
awkward about it because he's never done this before, and then like attempts to fly and just smashes into a chair, falls, looks around, shakes it off.
Sounds like an actual house bird.
Yeah.
From what I've heard. Callie would be able to know. She's babysat a few.
So would Hera, but
In any case. Sending
Hey,
hey.
what was the question? I heard my name.
Would a raccoon turned into a hawk fly like a moron?
Have you ever had a bird that you own your mom's birds that you babysat where it just flew into a wall?
Yes, all the time. That's what they do.
See?
birds are dumb.
In that case. So Gruk's gonna have Jesse heading there.
Okay, heading out to like near Red Ami.
Yeah, but Gruk would
Isn't
of
that
course teleport via plants because he's got teleport
ask.
to there.
Okay.
I thought that was 12,000 miles away. It seemed like I'm missing a step in
It's
here.
kind of a jump. You do know that going there without one of the actually, how many layers do you have? Layers of corruption do you have now?
I have 8, but if I need to every day, I can remove a layer.
Okay, you know that leaving Del Diablo with having too many layers could very easily kill you if you don't have that charm from somebody in the hierarchy.
How many?
We should just
How
keep one of
soon?
those.
How soon should we go after Lycosin?
We're gonna go after Onyx has done her debut.
So 2 days?
So a day and a half, 2 days.
You know that you could get one of those from Demona, she just can't give them to herself.
We should just have him hanging by the door whenever we go out. if we
It's
need
not
him.
it's not an item, it's a ritual that you do.
Oh. I was thinking of like an amulet.
Yeah, it's basically like a small spell that they cast by touch, like I believe
I actually have 9 levels.
You would literally just insta frag out.
Yeah.
is that one of the things that we changed so that the corruption druid can let you have a little bit more because it was one of the only like corruption themed classes that didn't get that.
Probably. 1, 2,
I
3,
thought that's exactly why he had.
4, 5. Oh, 6, 7. Wow, I miscounted. Okay. In any case, I am going to go to one of the random plants at the top of the house and once every 24 hours, I spend an hour transferring one of my layers to a plant. And it's the same plant.
Okay, so you're just gonna make this tree on the roof really fucking corrupted?
Not the tree. I do not want the tree to frag out. It's kind of my teleportation hub.
Okay.
I take like
So,
a blade of grass that's growing up there or something.
Okay.
They're
And-
The
other
firelight
potted
shrine for
plants,
our
right?
party.
Gonna be crawling around soon.
You're trying to do what again with them?
As a Void Rye, once a day, I can spend an hour concentrating on either removing or taking a layer of corruption. So I can transfer a layer of corruption one way.
Okay. So which one are you trying to get rid of?
Can I choose what layers? Or I'd assume it would be the latest ones I've had, and they just
yeah,
chip
it would
down.
it would probably be the latest one.
Okay, I just removed the top two I had. So one of them we never rolled for.
Oh.
So I removed that. And the other one was called chlorophyll, where I could not need to eat as long as I had 8 hours of sunshine a day. And I don't really get much use out of that one, because I'm
Okay.
in my lab most of the time anyway. So
Sun lamps.
that's fine.
There's nothing saying we wouldn't hook you up with some UV lights then.
Inside of a jacket, even. Just always have it on. It'll look pretty cool.
That's opposite. According to Metal Gear Solid, if you go through chlorophyll through your skin, you need to wear as little clothes as possible.
No, that's to
No,
breathe.
that was just to breathe.
That's to breathe. That's right. She may as well, pretty much.
And then you make awkward shower scenes.
Yes, but
Yeah.
that's
I mean, that's Hideo Kojima.
that's Kojima, just in general. Yeah.
In any case, I'm down to 5 layers instead of 7 now, I guess.
Okay.
You know what I can do, though? Those
What's that?
2 layers that I just gave it, they're random. So if you want to, you don't have to. You can roll the corruption that this plant has now. And if I really wanted them back, the next day I can grab another one back.
I hope it's not the one that makes it constantly screaming.
Passion would burn that fucking thing if that is the case.
Let's say it's a fern on the like a shrub.
Mhm.
A shrubbery.
So that way, if it like somehow awakens, you got stats for it.
And you did 2 layers, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to roll, or
I got it.
okay? Let me find the table. Or do you got it?
I got it.
Okay.
I've got a table as well.
With the first one that you transfer, all of the leaves like immediately switch and start facing the opposite direction.
Interesting. So it inverts. On which axis? The
Like
the
if they were
horizontal
facing
axis
upward,
or the vertical axis?
if they were like facing upward, they're now pointing downward. And like it switched
So-
almost as if instead of growing upward, it's growing downward.
So it
like the-
switched on its z-axis. Got it.
It would have been your face is flipped upside down.
Mm-hmm. Would that be the flower? No, the flower's more there.
Would it mean the chlorophyll parts of the leaves will be pointing downwards?
Yep.
And you notice that very slowly these little buds start to appear, which at first look like little, like very prickly thorns. But as you watch, they grow into like a larger bud that then keeps growing into very furry ears.
So it turned into a furry, is what you're telling me.
A ferny.
It's Fernie. Its name's now Fernie.
Yep. It grows large floppy ears.
And if I really wanted to waste resources, I could cast Awaken on it right now. And it'd probably be like, kill me! The ears would be upside down since the leaves are upside down, right?
Just like thank God you didn't get one too higher than that. Get your eyes are now located in the palm of your hands.
So,
Actually,
since-
as a corruption druid, I can switch between
Too higher.
one higher or one lower. So what's one higher than that one?
One
So-
higher would be your strength score is decreased by 1.
What's that
And
other
one
one?
lower is you stop aging but still suffer the effects of age. Oh, you appear to stop aging.
Okay, let's go with that one.
So, if it has dog ears, does that mean its bark is worse than its bite now?
Ah,
And that previous one, the first one, since I can modify it, what were the above and below for that. I'm sorry for making so much into this little menial thing I'm doing.
You are soundless and invisible to 1 out of every 100 creatures you meet.
Or
One higher would be your maximum hit points. Your maximum hit points decrease by 10%.
yeah, we're gonna go with the first one.
The soundless and invisible.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I mean, how often is that gonna show up for a plant on the roof?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be pollinated slightly less now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, technically it counts as a creature.
But it's under the effects of the plant growth spell, so it'll be fine.
I'm just imagining, like, bees just like, oh, I'm gonna go to this tree, and just runs into an invisible plant. It's just like, what the fuck is this shit? Because you can't see it sometimes.
So
But it's only that-
anyways.
But it's only that bee, because it's only like 1% of the
Yeah.
time.
So, I believe Demona had some things she was gonna do today.
Well, I mean, I owe Kai a meeting, and I really want that 6th level spell. I really want it.
So did you want to take any of your associates with you, or just go?
I mean, I honestly don't think any one of them would even know about Kai. He approached me.
No.
Yeah,
This is just if you want to. They don't necessarily know this meeting is happening or anything about him.
This is mysterious.
Mysterious benefactor. Yeah. No, I see no reason why she wouldn't go solo. I mean, I know you hate to split the party, but
I mean, it's not like you're gonna bring us with you, so.
So, you make your way to Deadlands. It's kind of a endeavor because Deadlands is not super close to where you guys are. Okay, no, it's not that far. It's one of the bordering neighborhoods of where you are. And the area of Deadlands is sort of this wasteland. The ground is dusty and dirty. There are like paved roads, but all of them are just absolutely caked with dust. There are a lot of like old-fashioned sort of bars and taverns and restaurants and places. All of them do still have the modern amenities, but they have that sort of like kitschy vibe of Wild West theme to them. And you know that he told you to meet him at the Lazy Cobra Tavern.
feeling really more chaos right about now.
Oh. It's a shame Alt isn't here. It's a nod to our Deadlands game that
Yeah.
he's in. Yeah, so you head in and see it's a kind of like crappy, dimly lit bar. There's a kind of young looking half elf barkeep behind the bar, not even really making drinks, just, you know, cleaning up. It's I think he said to meet him around dinner time. So there are a handful of people sitting around. Most are just eating. There's a couple that are drinking, but it looks pretty empty at the moment.
Do I see him anywhere? Or any of his colors, since he's a laser dragonborn?
Kai's a laser dragon?
That's what you told me.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what I remember anyways.
Okay. I had completely forgotten that, apparently. So at the moment, no, you don't see any dragonborn in here. It looks like a mix of humans and a couple of half-elves. The guy behind the bar says, "You getting anything, or are you just waiting for somebody?"
Both.
Cool. What do you want? He sort of nods behind him. There's like a menu that's mostly a bunch of different, very basic drinks and like burgers and fries and sort of wings, sort of thing.
Bottle of whiskey.
Gotcha. You don't even have to take gold off for this. Like, it's gonna.
Shit,
A
I
bottle of
should've asked
whiskey
for
would be
Fireball.
like maybe 3 gold.
Okay. I would choose, after they would give me the bottle and glass, I would want to find the most secluded seat I could possibly find with a clear sight line to the door.
So you probably wait for about 10 minutes or so and are getting to the point where you're kind of like, is this gonna happen, or am I getting stood up, or what? And you see one of a individual walk in, laser dragonborn, with the... How many eyes did Verm have at the end of campaign 2, Scott? Was it 6?
He did have 6, yes.
With 6 eyes, wearing like a nice vest that shows off his arms, and he's got this really elaborate tattoo on the one arm of a different kind of dragon. This one probably looks like a metallic one. Oh shit, that's right. You have a third eye that can see ghosts.
Don't let
Like,
me distract you.
Why? The chat does. Like, it's just a fact of life. And sort of looks around and spots you, walks over. Demona holds his hand out. You can see that he's also got on the one ear. Is it one of the ear fins? I can't remember if they're one of the ones that have the fins. Is like a earring that has 2 little rings at the top and a chain that goes down to the bottom.
Nice. He'd definitely shake his hand. Offer him a seat. Pour him a glass.
Yeah. He'll sit down. Whatever the spiciest wings you have. And the guy just nods and leans over to the other room to yell into the kitchen. So, how are things going? I heard you've been working on some spells and things, right?
Slow, but progressing.
Anything interesting?
I don't know. They're interesting to me, but I'm not sure how interesting that would be to a financier of a merc guild.
It is technically his investment. He is paying you to develop these spells, kind of, in a way.
Well, his investment was for the club, not necessarily what I did with it. So,
His investment was definitely in like the mercenary part as well.
okay.
Yeah, he definitely knew. He might not know exactly what kind of spells you're working on, but like he definitely knows that it's a mercenary guild.
Thinking of new cells to create for the mercenary dispatch.
So I saw you and your entourage on TV the other day out in, what was it? Los Angeles? Or was that New Tokyo? On the
Los
border,
Angeles.
I think?
Oh, you're still talking in character. Sorry. Los Angeles, yes.
What was happening there? There was a lot of chaos. I've heard a lot of conflicting reports.
Political shitstorm. 2 were intellect devourers. We have a whole mess on our hands.
Yeah, it seemed like there's a lot of that going around, the mess bit. You and yours, you're like the flagship heroes of the city. What are you guys doing about the, are you thinking of making any move towards the Circle of Night? Or are you more interested in focusing on our investment, or? No judgment either way. I understand it's perfectly understandable to have minions that deal with the minutia.
Some resources are going into information gathering. The order is a high priority, but we are taking things as they come.
Nice. So, I have yet to actually see the building. I was hoping for a tour at some point. Mostly, I just happened to be in the area. I had to pick something up today, so I figured I'd get you while I'm in town, and then can meet you out in the borough later, and perhaps in a few days or so. I just wanted to catch up on, like, you know, what you and the guild have been doing, and
Did Gruk
Sorry.
follow me here?
I just heard somebody knock on my door and the dog bark.
I was hearing the dog, yeah.
But it's
Uh-oh.
8:30 at night. So I'm just gonna text Kevin and ask what was that, considering the dog stopped barking, so clearly Kevin did something to acknowledge it.
It was the Wunari they wanted out.
What would De-Fraggers be
He
doing
usually
in front of
doesn't
her
bark
house?
when he has to go out. He whines like a little baby. He only barks when he's like, "Oh my god, it's Amazon, we're gonna be murdered."
You do got to be afraid of those Amazon people. I've seen how they handle packages.
Wait, don't you work for Amazon? Oh, okay. You just deliver things. Oh, I thought you did. My apologies.
So I've been hearing some reports of another. Everything good?
I hate it when she does that. I can never tell if she's still in character or not.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I'm like, wait,
Sorry.
what happened?
You're fine, you're
saw
fine.
the door open slightly and then close, and then open slightly and then close. So I'm assuming the dog is out there doing something. Anyway, I've heard some reports of mercenaries on the border of Del Diablo scoping out the wards and the area around it. Just figured it'd be something that we should maybe keep an eye on. Maybe do something about.
Originally, they were set to help with the refugee issue from the terrorist attacks. They are also keeping eyes on the sigils.
Wait, our mercenaries are out there? Because I'm talking about another group that are out there. They're pretty good at hiding. They're using some kind of stealth technology. It's not magic, it's tech that makes them invisible.
Do you know their designation
Like who they work for?
or what they're called?
I don't know much about them. They're very hard to get a hold on. Honestly, the only reason that I knew about them is because I have a lot of scouts that come in and out of the city. And when you're really good at hiding, it's really easy to find somebody else that's doing the same. It's not a lot of them. Maybe a group, at least the ones that I saw that were closest to the ward that I saw. Maybe a group of 15, 16. The only one that my scout got eyes on was a human, but that doesn't say much. Definitely either military or mercenaries, well armed, well armored, know what they're doing.
Ghosts.
Effectively.
I'll have to send out some scouts. Any preference for priority?
I just want to make sure that we're defending our own. I don't want anything coming in and stirring up shit. You know what I mean? Like, I know that we're mercenaries, we do, you know, we work for hire, but at the same time, if we can't defend our own territory, what the fuck's the point?
Agreed. I'll get the information to our scouts.
Fabulous. Sorry, hey, I just got distracted because the dog just rolled in and was like, I heard something scary. He's so weird. He just rolled in, did like a circle around my chair, and left. Like, all right, cool, I guess.
He's looking for food.
Probably. He was very upset because the last couple of times we've gotten food from this place, we got onion rings, and they have like one French fry in there. And he knows he's allowed to have French fries, but not onion rings. So this evening, Kevin was getting onion rings, and he's like, oh my god, look what I found! And Terry took off running at top speed. And then mid-run, Kevin's like, oh, it's actually just an onion ring that broke. And Terry just stopped and just sagged and walked away sad, like, because he knows he's not allowed to have onion rings. Yeah. He says, in the meantime, there are a few things that I have been working on a little bit myself, and some things I've had commissioned that could be kind of interesting, perhaps. Oh, it was a delivery, apparently. And he pulls out like a small sketch pad and starts showing you some different designs for different kind of weaponry and tech, and a couple of magical tattoo designs.
Ooh. Nice.
Meanwhile, what are the three of you all doing? Gruk, Passion, and Cyberus.
Well, if he's not doing the things he's already said he was doing for the next few days, Gruk's probably Mr. Boring and working on his staff. Exactly. Oh, you don't say. I don't know if you could hear that.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that Garfield?
That is definitely Garfield.
Oh, the talkie baby.
Why are you talking so much? Meow.
I support the cat talking.
Yes, same. I love it.
For the couple days off that we have, I think, since Cyberus doesn't have anything big or specific to do, I think the first thing would be to try to find any information on the Twilight Citadel about where it is or what it was used for, or any sort of history in that. Just something we could use to find it. And then I think other than that, he'd probably just go work at the restaurant some, try out some new recipes. Just normal things like that.
You may be pinged by Demona in the near future,
Sure.
since you've got that unlimited access to the library.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you were gonna ping Cyrus and be like, hey, do you know a good pizza joint nearby?
We can make pizza.
So I'll say, because this is a bit fluid, we're going to be going over a couple of days here. you can just say that you do so.
Okay. And sorry, I had another train of thought there that just got ruined. So yeah, she would want to ask you to look up some location information. See if you could find any locations about the Abyss specifically.
Is that something that I would know what that means, or would I need more context?
It's on the grid, if I'm not mistaken.
Say that one more time.
The Abyss.
What about it?
Asking him to find locations around there. See if there's anything that sticks out. If there's any relevant.
So Demona, you got a crash course a little bit at least at one point on how the cosmology of Radix works, as in like where in the world is not Carmen Sandiego.
Still trying to recruit her for my stealth ops.
A big red hat. And some other references that you won't get, so I won't mention.
She gave that to Waldo. Really screws with the PIs.
There's going to be a Waldo One Piece crossover.
Oh, good God.
What?
Let's move on. It's very
Okay.
exciting.
Give me a second. I gotta find my document for this. Oh, that would help if I actually like type the word I just used. So Demona knows and can explain to Cyberus that the rift above Del Diablo basically splits the universe as you guys know it in two. There is the grid. The grid contains the material world of Radix as well as the virtual world. And the space around those two are called the Oververse. On the other side of the rift is the Underverse, or the Dark Web. That's where Dark Radix is located, as well as Fragmentation, that sort of warped, digitized space where things that are native to the other side are typically born. Within the grid or the Oververse, that's where the Abyss is located. So I'm going to actually just share this little drawing with y'all, because it might help.
So the Abyss is the part of the grid that's in the Oververse?
Yes. The grid and the Oververse are basically the same word for the same thing, or two different words for the same thing. It's depending on how old the the context of the person or thing you're reading depends on which one they use.
So is Demona looking for like current Abyss news, or Abyss information related to other things that we're looking at, or just like, I assume it's somewhere that people know what it is and where it is, basically, even if there's not a lot of like hotels in the area.
Effectively, some local news. It's not specific.
Sure. Would the library have local news?
The library has anything the library has is stuff that people have gifted it. So it has a bunch of random things. It typically doesn't have current
events. It
news.
wouldn't have current events.
Yeah, but it can definitely tell you like the geography of different places, and especially in the grid, it's a little bit easier to find things than it is on Radix, because the geography of the grid doesn't change quite as often as it does in Radix, just because weather there is heavily dependent of which area you're in. It's not like, global warming isn't a thing, erosion isn't necessarily a thing they have to deal with unless that specific domain or area is designed to do that. Demona, you do know that one of the places in the Abyss where you were previously looking into, the Abyss is known to be incredibly deadly, especially because it tends to have a lot of ambient heat that is pretty painful to most individuals that are not immune or at least resistant.
Intriguing. Do people live there? Or like cities? anything like that? I guess I would try to find that out. I think I would just look up geographical and political maps of the Abyss, if those exist.
You could probably disregard the political and just look for the geographical.
Well, I mean, the political would be if there are settlements or zones that are under the prospective influence or control of factions.
That's fair.
I don't know exactly what Demona was looking for, so I just tried to get some general information.
Okay. So,
And via texting, I could keep her up to date on what I find.
can, yeah. Was there anything else that anybody else wanted to go to the library for or ask about?
Luke, do you know about Sakon?
The convention about the movies about Saw?
Sakon these nuts. I had to get someone with them. I had to get someone with one.
That's less interesting.
Yeah,
Sock
based
on,
off
cat.
of chat. Don't.
People
Sock on these
shouldn't. People
nuts.
shouldn't be going to conventions right now.
I had to get it once. I know, and you don't worry. Don't worry about it. You might be too old for it, cat.
This is like that meme with Dr. Manhattan who just disintegrates somebody,
Exactly.
and I'm wearing the
I had to do it,
more
Scotty. I'm very
wearing
sorry.
the bluer clothes of the group.
Just having the you might be too old for that cat. Okay. So, it's fine. I'm not ancient. Cyberus, you make your way up to the Arachnid Library. The familiar robotic arms outreach, sort of waiting for something, and then say, "Ah, Cyberus, back again.
Yes.
What are you looking for today?"
Some general information about certain interesting grid locations in the grid, I should say. Might be going there soon.
Oh, doing some traveling?
Yes.
Interesting. And the doors open, the mechanical arms sort of wave you through. Let's see. You can see again the did I write down what these people look like?
Those floating brains with arms things.
No, they don't look quite like that. The actual curious sage, he is a basically a brain in a jar sort of thing. The librarians here are very different. You don't see them that often, typically only in the furthest recesses, which is kind of where you're going, because a lot of the stuff you're looking for is really old and really niche. They're very tall humanoid creatures, about 7 feet tall, of dark purple skin, with solid gold eyes that have no mouth and wear like these floor-length robes. And all of them have like a really old, battered name tag that is stuck to them that has various different, very boring names like Glenn and Robert and Steve.
Scott.
Ouch.
Sorry.
That seems like an obvious joke that could have been made.
What?
Yeah. So you see these individuals sort of floating around, replacing books, just looking at you.
I'll give him a wave. I recognize them, I think.
So if you would like to, go ahead and give me a investigation check.
Rolling dice is exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Not good at it. 20.
You're not good at it. 20.
Well, what? Wait, why did I roll with advantage? I have 2 dice. I picked up both. I'll do it correctly. 20.
Perfect. Love it. So, regarding like settlements in the Abyss, there are not many. The Abyss is not exactly known for its hospitality.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not very much a place where you're going to see a lot of community, there are a handful of evil gods that make their home there, and around the home temples of those gods, occasionally small settlements do pop up. There is one very brutal society that sort of wipes itself out and then reforms every couple of centuries. That's based around the temple of Khan, the god of war, victory, and violence.
Mm.
They're known for hosting tournaments of death. That's pretty much the only one that is named. There are a small handful of others, but those tend to be small villages that maybe last for a decade at most before whoever lives there is wiped out. And it's usually like adventurers or very, very unfortunate people that found themselves trapped through some kind of portal and trapped in the abyss with no way to get home.
I would, at this point, ask Demona if any of this is in the direction she's looking for, what she wants to know.
Yeah, what are the settlement names?
Ooh, names.
Let's see. So the first settlement, or the most recent settlement to what you guys would know, nobody's lived there for about like 40 45 years or so. And the name of it is Plazru. It was pretty much abandoned. Okay, so it was active about 40 years ago or so. The last anybody had heard of it, there was a group of basically marauding demons that rolled through and decided to have some fun and ran out everybody that lived there. Some scattered and went to seek refuge at the city of Khan, and it's not clear how well that went for them. Others left to try and find a person that could hopefully help them find their way home. They had heard about a wizard that was able to shift between the planes, able to go home, and they went in search of them.
How's that sound, Demona? Demona, do you have like a name in mind?
No, unfortunately.
That's too bad.
However, speaking of names, the name of that plane-shifting wizard would definitely be a person of interest.
Oh, yes. Is there any note of that name?
They don't have an official name. What they called her was a nickname. The majority of the folks there were dwarves and like Darrow that didn't speak common very well, and they called this mage Winterfire. She was a Wunari that favored fire magic.
Interesting. That's good to know.
Winterfire.
Mhm.
Yeah, find anything and everything you can about Winterfire.
All right, new search parameters.
Okay. Let's see. So was there anything else you wanted to know about the Abyss?
I mean, the
I can get
location information to start with and a name to follow definitely seems like the big notes that I'm writing down right now. So no, as soon as that name would pop up, that would be the next thing to follow.
I will actually say, if Demona would go ahead and just roll me an intelligence check for this to see what she can remember.
Now I'm curious about why she wants to know all this stuff.
intelligence. 25.
Nice. Okay. So
We're smarter than vaccine.
Ouch.
Statistically,
oh,
via statistics.
What's everyone's intelligence scores?
Let me believe this.
I feel like Demona might throw it some.
Or carry it
13.
some.
Throw
Well,
it
I
some-
mean, as in like puts you guys so much higher than vaccine crew.
What's Passion's intelligence again?
13.
13? You might be the lowest.
Probably.
15 for Gruk.
Passion isn't known for her intelligence.
Demona's sitting on 20.
Mm-hmm. How about Cyberus?
14.
Okay.
But 2 of that was from turning blue.
Dabba-dee dabba-die.
Hera will lower our average.
Rude. True, but rude. So I believe Demona, when she was speaking to Bazil in Heaven's Towers ages ago, had gotten a few books from him that might throw some things to help. You do know that you were searching for a particular demon, and in searching for this demon, you had come up with a name of a mountain, which I now have to find because, of course, my notes are all over the place because I'm me.
I mean, at least you have the notes. I'm trying to get myself into a habit of making notes that I'm only just now catching up on. So it's some of my stuttering and stopping from time to time.
I'm experimenting with camera locations.
Just don't drop
Uh,
us.
It's too much.
You know that the demon Kargoth it dwells on in a realm called the Shadowed Mount. And I believe it was Demona's understanding that that might be a demon that she has familiarity with.
From what I have on my own notes, Kargath is the one who served the big bad from before.
That's correct. That's the one. And of this mountain, you know that it's a volcanic range where gravity kind of acts weirdly. And also where it is scorching hot to the point that one of the person who wrote that book was a Kenku. And they say that their feathers were almost burned off in the 5 minutes it took them to get there and back and out of there.
Oof. What'd you say the name of that mountain was?
Shadowed Mount.
Oh, just Shadowed Mountain. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Uh-oh.
Fucking chat.
Yeah.
Kiss my ass, Vex. This is that fucking goblin name all over again.
Goblin what?
A billion years ago, I was running a Pathfinder game, and I was asked to name this goblin on the spur of the moment. And my dumb brain was like, "Oh, I will just take two sounds and put them together and make a name." And the sounds that I came up with was gra and boo, which I was imagining spelled like the French, so B-O-U-T. And what came out of my mouth was Grabot. And Kevin and the rest of the party never let that little fucker go. They took that asshole goblin up to level 20.
I mean, you did name him Grabut. So
It's a normal goblin
you
name.
know,
Goblins always have weird.
hold
gross
on
names.
to it. Was in the name right there, Cat.
Yeah. They also, it was Pathfinder, so they turned this little rascal into a whirling dervish, and he just became a little green blur of fucking death.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh,
Uh.
I do have one other question I need to throw towards Cyberus during his investigation, if I can.
Mhm.
Need to know of any artifacts that may have been lost there. Or any noteworthy artifacts, period, I guess. Be a good way to start. Like any wars that may have happened, any particular artifacts.
So I'll say, Cyberus, go ahead and given these extra information, you can roll with advantage for this one. And this would be another investigation check.
Another 20. Rolling a lot
Nice.
of 18s.
I hired the right person.
So looking into it, you do find the general location for a volcanic mountain range has at least there. It's unclear. There's 2 different mountains in the range that can be called Shadowed Mountain, depending on where in the sky the like sources of light in this plane are. But you at least have it narrowed down to 2 places like that. And you do find that in this mount are the scattered remains of the debris of what's called the Titans Wars. Usually it's lots of like the remains of golems. Looking at them now, they look kind of similar to what eventually would become Zords, but they definitely look more arcane than technological, like the Zords do. And that there are a couple in there that are said to maybe still be functional, just in hibernation or out of magical fuel, or sort of forgotten and trapped. So depending on what your size scale is, that could maybe count as an artifact. But because apparently there was a war fought there's a good chance that there could be any number of other debris left behind, similar to this knife you're looking for that fell during the corruption wars.
I now feel like I'm on the trail of a Metal Gear.
Yeah, you kind of are. These
it.
are a weapon to surpass Metal Gear, one would say.
Interesting new direction for the story.
New direction. Demona's been building up to turning into Metal Gear Solid for a while.
That's true. New for the rest of us. I hope she brings us along. And we don't burn up by just being there.
Nah, we're here just to suffer.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You can tell basically.
Not only
I'll
just
say
to
that a 20 straight up tells you, any creature that does not have fire immunity will be taking damage while they're in this area of this mountain. Sources vary depending on where you are and how far up on the mountain you are, how intense this heat is, but effectively at the lightest you'll be taking damage every hour, and at the most dangerous highest points possibly every round. So it's definitely a very much snatch and grab. If you go there, you're going to want to get out soon.
Except for Demona. Demona can just get stronger the longer she's there.
I don't
Not for
think
long.
she's immune.
No, I'm not immune as of yet. I have
One-
resistance.
For one turn, you can get stronger while you're there.
Yeesh. Yeah, take 3 damage as healing and then immediately lose it to a heat wave. Or I could just fireball myself.
Gobble up some lava.
I feel like that would be a bad idea. Even for her.
Well, that's
There's a
your-
good reason I've never played a Rye.
Because things would go awry for you very quickly.
No, it's just that every single...
I
Is it a
love
victory
that.
for you, Vex?
Yes, that is a victory, considering Kat just looked. You just started answering normally and then realized what I said. You can just see the moment she realized what I said. I'm very proud of myself for what I've done.
Please.
Anyway,
clip
the
that.
reason I say that is because I am absolutely one of those people that every time I see lava, I'm like, I want to lick it. I want to eat it. It is the forbidden candy.
It
Anyway.
is the forbidden hot sauce.
I think more like syrup.
I mean, I'm Canadian. There's no such thing as forbidden syrup.
Valid. So, was there anything else that Cyberus wanted to look up while he was here?
Just like a specific location of the Twilight Citadel, and like any
Oh, that's right.
passcodes or keys it might have.
I
stored
thought
with
you
the
said
map.
toilet citadel, not twilight there.
I have never used that word, and I will never use that word.
Now Kat's gonna put a toilet citadel just so you have to use that word.
Nope.
I mean, then it could just be called the Citadel.
I would just call it the Citadel. Yeah.
The Citadel?
Exactly.
That was great.
We don't go to that place.
It's a very silly place.
Commander Shitherd, we need to see you at the Crocodile.
God damn it.
This is my favorite toilet on the Citadel.
So GPS.
Yeah, so for this, the Citadel, you know that it's a sort of distant, almost forgotten corner of the grid. And the books that, actually, give me one more roll.
All right.
Should be another 20.
Nope, it's a 3. The lowest I can roll for investigation.
Thank you for rolling high on my interests.
Yeah, we know which is more important.
So the books that you're finding give a bunch of different contradictory stories of where the Citadel came from. There are some that say that it was initially created in the virtual world and then got shifted to the grid, which is not that often, not a thing that really happens that often. There are some stories that say that it was originally the home to one of the gods of the innumerable, the sort of elemental themed gods that are an entire pantheon to themselves. You know that it's surrounded by what seems to be like the starry, nebulous, gassy fields of space, but that rather than being cold like space, it tends to harness a lot of electricity. And that supposedly there is a device in the center of this citadel that can gather all of that electrical energy and point it places. Some people say that it can only point to other places in the grid. Some say that it can point to anywhere in the universe. Some say that it can point to other universes or other points in time. But a lot of what you're reading, you're guessing, is kind of wild speculation of people that saw it from a distance and didn't get very close. There is a story of one drow adventurer, drow adventurer that made her way as close as she could. She made it within the first within the first wall. There's a wall surrounding it. And the journal that she writes talks about how she had to evade lightning bolts that were raining all around her. There were various animated, not sort of constructs that came at her, but not like golems, like things like animated swords and weaponry, and one set of like armor that looked like it was falling apart. And she made it to the first gate, and when she sorry, chat distracted me. I closed it, and Zoom is like, no, look at this stuff.
Vex did it.
Of course Vex did it. And that when she made it to the front door, she managed to get it unlocked, and as soon as she opened it, she was hit with this blast of dark black energy that she couldn't really place. that shoved her outward out of the courtyard and straight out of the wall, basically, almost like it teleported her. She's like, she says that it felt like she was moving in a straight line, but as far as she could tell, there was no way she could have done so without hitting something.
She did survive. That's good. According to
this
legend.
account is very old, like 600-700 years old, so like not great chances she's still alive. She is an elf, so tiny chance, but not great, especially considering from some of the other journals that she has in there, she's done a lot more risky journaling and traveling, so probably not one of those individuals that ended up with a retirement.
Burn out instead of fade away. I get it. Well, that's good information. At least it seems like the electricity is consistent across most of the stories. So we will need a Faraday hamster ball.
I love this.
That's my plan. With rubber shoes and gloves. And we should be able to make it in. At least to the door.
So, you have access to a magical R&D section. You might be able to make that a spell instead of just a cage.
I will bring it up at the next R&D meeting.
Fair enough.
But perhaps we will...
I feel like I want to have an R&D meeting now.
We might end up scouting it before we just assume we know it's there. Depending how we get to it and where it is, that sort of thing. But we can discuss that as a group later.
Locating it seems to be a little bit of the problem. It seems the stories it depends, saying whether it's just forgotten and nobody really remembers where it is, that it's definitely on the outer distances of the grid, or if it moves. It's unclear whether it's just hard to pin down because there's no real landmarks anywhere near it to know that you're heading in the right direction, or if it actually moves.
Well, it's good to know what we know.
I know a little bit about it, at least, not necessarily how to find it.
We learned more than we knew before, and that's important. All right, I think that's it for me.
So, what is Passion doing this time?
Passion is probably doing some research on Lycosta if she can. Like querying up some stuff from the Henshin to see if she can learn more, because she probably knows like the bare bones, like I'll bet like that, that Lycosta was Verm's not Zord, familiar pretty much. And that's
she was a Zord.
She was a Zord?
Yeah.
I can never remember because many different
pretty sure he
terms.
was a power Henshin. Or no, at the time I think it was just the one.
Yeah, just the regular just Henshin in general.
Yeah.
But yeah. So she'd want to try and learn as much as she can about them. And Verm, by extension.
Scotty, remind me, I believe Lycosta was based on a giant spider? Or was it one of the fancy ones?
It was a giant spider, yes.
Okay, yeah.
That or a giant wolf spider, which is pretty much the same thing.
Giant wolf spider. I don't know if they're actually different.
Sorry, Jesse, if you hear this and I'm wrong.
Also, it really fucked me up earlier when you were talking about your familiar and said, sorry, Jesse, I know you don't like this form. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's the whole reason his name's Jesse.
Yeah, it fucked me up for a minute.
I was
very confused.
It was that or Kevin, but
Just like our dog, and the dog in every single game we've played. Every dog is Kevin.
Meow.
That's a cat, Scotty. Come on.
I know, he's talking.
So reading into it, you do find some accounts of some of the battles that Vermithrax and Lycosta were in. You know that Lycosta was very much a stealth individual. Verm and their favorite tactic was basically to either lie in wait and rely on the meat tank of their group, as it were, the De-Fragger, to lure prey underneath of them, or for Hertz to
Get into trouble.
lead them into a chase, something of that.
Lead them
So
into a
she's very, very
Scooby-Doo
good at
chase.
hiding, like physically being unseen.
Mhm.
Later, as time went on, she did get some upgrades that helped her with like reflective paneling and sort of things like that help her hide even better, as
Mhm.
well as the ability to like scramble her signal and different things like that. And you're assuming over time that technology has gotten even more advanced.
Yeah.
She did have the ability to sense things without necessarily seeing them right away. She can make web that was made out of like a very, very fine cable that she could then repurpose into new after it got all tangled up and disgusting. She, while being a gigantic large size spider, she kind of had the disposition of a puppy, but a very large one that kind of tended to put some people off because that's weird and terrifying in some cases. You know that she did have I believe she had a travel compartment on her where she could carry some different things. You know, from the dream that you saw, Vios, that she was carrying a data stick
Mhm.
on her, at least that, and possibly more. You didn't really get a chance to see anything else she may have had with her.
All right.
I'll say that she hasn't shown up that often because let's see, the times that she showed up within the last like 150 years or so are very, very occasionally and always in the company of Yost. And even then, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, it's a disguise. It's somebody cosplaying. It's somebody, keeping the legend alive," because it wasn't very clear whether or not Ranger Prime Yost was still alive or not. And that in most of those cases, they were only seen for a very short time, and it was only in battles where something very, very big went down. So basically, he didn't pour out of retirement for anything little. It was always
It was always a huge deal when Lycosta did. All right.
But looking into it, you do find I'll say it takes some digging. You do have to actually like reach out to Ranger Command to see if you can get clearance for it. But you do actually gain access to the location of his grave.
All right. Perfect. That's actually what she was hoping to find too. So.
Yeah. And when you are sent that, you do get a message from Nocturne asking, is that where you think she is?
Passion will just reply back with it's the first place we're gonna check. It would if she isn't there, then she might be somewhere close at least. Or there might be a clue there.
Okay. Yeah. So he is indeed buried. He's not in New Radami, he's in Old Radami, which is the original one. And it's not actually I don't think you guys were there. But if you talk to Vino or
A very important question. Is Hertz buried near there or no?
I'll say yeah.
Then Passion has probably been there before.
No.
No?
So Hertz has a public tomb.
Makes sense.
And it's not known to anyone. In fact, Passion was probably just assuming that that's where they were buried, because as far as she knew, that's where they were buried. That's where their official like tombstone is and everything. But talking to Nocturne, you can find that during the Machine Wars, their basically original resting places were lost. And it was only after several decades of Yost and yeah, it was actually just Yost, because Visca actually would have already died by then. Several decades of Yost searching before he managed to find them and put them in a better place.
Okay.
It's a very, very simple cemetery that doesn't even really have a name. It's out in like the middle of nowhere next to some pretty tiny town on the borders of Old Red Ami.
All right. Passion is now planning to at least get something to put that Hertz's grave now.
Yeah, I'll say that. So the original grave that you had been to, it was one of those like mausoleum sort of things that inside had statues to all four of the hero, all four of them. To I don't remember. Did you have one there? I know it was Verm Vina or Verm Hertz and Visca at least. And folks did leave stuff for them. The staff tended to clean it up pretty regularly. But if you've had any conversations with Vina or Sammy, you can know that they actually did visit their tomb and found a secret resting place underneath of it that contained
man cave.
Less of that and more of like
I'm
bunch
joking.
of stuff he left for Vina. Some of which was pretty man cavey because he is that kind of nerd.
Some of which was Passion's art.
Yeah. So I will say, if you'd like, you guys could all reconvene to discuss what your plan is for next time, and I'll say that this would happen like immediately. Let's see, what was the timeline like? This would probably be like right after Onyx's show. I'll say that like you guys can all gather up. She hasn't actually gotten back home yet from it.
All right.
Would any of us have gone to her show with her, because we were planning to take that detector of the brain thing?
Okay, then in that case, I'll say that you guys basically did that over the course of the like day or so.
Passion doesn't go. She's intentionally not going.
Okay. And then this can be like the day before that, or that morning before she heads out.
I think Cyberus would be the one, I guess, to go and use that device and scan people.
It seems Cyberus is the one who is really big into doing that. So
it seems important to see who has about a brain slug in him. Metaphorically.
Literally.
Yeah, both.
So. Yeah, so I'll say you can basically turn it on as soon as you get there. You know that it doesn't have like a permanent lifespan. It has to definitely be charged for a couple of hours, so you can only really use it for like an hour or two before it has to be recharged.
Would there be a way to hook it up into any of my cybernetics to get extra battery life? Probably not. I could just use it sporadically when there's a lot of people around.
Yeah, it's not really gonna work that way.
I don't have ports.
You don't have ports, and also the devices in you don't run off of battery. They run off of your own biomechanics, and this isn't designed to run off of that.
Perhaps a future upgrade.
Yeah. So when you take it there and turn it on, so the sound set where you're set to meet is kind of like a it's pretty much what looks like a huge warehouse that looks kind of like this is not really what you were expecting until you get inside and just see this absolute spread of catering that just stretches forever, and hundreds of people running around with like scripts and papers and tablets and walkie-talkies and everything. There are very clearly a handful of like actors walking around. And I will say, go ahead and give me a perception check with this device just to see what you see.
Good. 16.
Okay.
This camera's too close.
So going around, you don't get anything. The first thing you do is just scan the first couple of people that you see at the door. They don't even react to you whatsoever. And then you sort of like casually make your way over to the actors, scan them, nothing. You see Susan far off in one of the offices and just sort of like wave it in her direction. Nothing. Until
it's a big relief.
one of the like interns that you know that had been meeting with Onyx specifically. Her name is Haley. She's a Wunari. As it passes over her, you get a blip. It's not very strong. It's not as strong as what Crypto suggested you would see, but it definitely something triggered off of it. And I think we'll pick up there next time.
Good, because we never discussed at all what we'll do if this worked.
Nope. No, you didn't. No. And literally the only people there are Onyx and Cyberus, and Onyx is probably still hiding in the van.
I mean, there is one other
Susan
person
is there. Susan is there.
Susan's there. Yeah, exactly.
True.
Where?
We just
What?
did that
What
with
happened?
The Body Snatchers movie where they just point and scream.
Greg wants to be involved.
Oh, in the movie at the
There you
TV
go.
station?
Whatever's
Yeah, so
happening. Yes.
Yeah, so basically I ruled that all of the like research that you guys had done, you managed to fit into that very, very long day right before Onyx's TV show appearance. And then we went to the morning of the TV show, and Cyberus took the
The party wagon.
Psydev device to see if he could detect any Psydevs there. Went over all of the cast, didn't see anything. All of the crew didn't see anything. Over Susan, didn't see anything. And then went past the intern that had been working with Onyx and got a blip. Not as strong as what he was expecting, but definitely a blip.
Oh boy.
And that's what we're going to pick up next time. I know that Passion is definitely not there, and Demona is probably not there.
Cyberus has learned not to
Yeah, half the party
instantly
is
give
there.
someone just because they're bad. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so
Anyhow.
next
Greg
time...
definitely would make sure to be there, mostly for crowd control if Onyx does something rash.
We got to support the team.
If
When Onyx
There you
does
go.
something
Onyx
rash.
knows that this is punishment for doing it. She wouldn't do something that would make her do this again.
Are you sure about that?
I
No.
mean, hey,
Like, okay, so Gruk's melded in stone, right? His head pops out of the stone, and he says, "Are you sure about that?"
I'm
it
not.
is Onyx.
It's a John Cena meme. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know that.
I only know him from Fast 9.
So we will pick up there next time. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Going around, for anybody with plugs, Vex, you want to start us off?
Sure. Well, you can find me on Twitter at VexyHex. You can also find me on Twitch. So every other Tuesday, so not next week, but the week after, we have Unwritten, a game that Callie runs. It's a blast. It's at 7 p.m., right, Scotty? 7 p.m. EST. So come check that out. After that is every other Thursday, same week as Unwritten, where we have Saffron Academy, ran by Aya. And that's at 8 o'clock, or I think 8 p.m. EST. Come check that out. There's a good amount of, well, Cat's in that game, and Scotty was, but scheduling is hard.
Yep.
And so come check that out. I can't wait for us to get that. And then finally on Sunday at 12:30 p.m. EST is Starfall Academy, Hera's Hera's Masks campaign, where in the last session the entire island got put more or less under lockdown. I've written it as at 8. Thank you, Scotty. It's fine. I forget. I can never remember numbers. Numbers are hard. The entire island got shut down, put on lockdown effectively because of our group. In effect, pretty much. So that's fun, and my character is absolutely planning to do malicious obedience of the rules. Because one of the things they said was no power usage without permission, and she is just going to get her mom in quotes to write her a bunch of notes for power use permission and saving people permission, and seeing how much she can piss them off by just giving them a ton of these notes. And then finally at 3:30 p.m. EST is my game, my Union Academy, where we still haven't played in a while, and it'll be the first day of school for everyone when we get back. So come check out all those games at Fractured Moon D&D. You can find Scotty's friends list. That's it for me.
Nice. The rest of the crew does not have a lot going on. I have some things. I don't run it, but I edit all of the stuff on our YouTube channel, Crow and Chimera. The next thing going up should actually be our one shot that actually takes place during the Wild West that we had a couple guest stars for, which was really fun. So keep an eye out for that. All of those go live on every other Monday afternoon at noon. So the next one goes up this Monday, the 20th. So keep an eye out for that, and then after that will be the time skip in Baltimore by Night, where we talk about all of our plans that we're gonna do during that time.
You guys haven't died yet?
Nightman.
Oh,
Shockingly not.
They
It didn't go well for Cozy last time.
Does it ever go well for Cozy?
They already died. They're all vampires.
Yeah,
Oh,
they've been dead for about
that.
7 to 8 months.
Some
of us on purpose.
So keep an eye out on that. Also, if you're in, for a lot of us yelling at Kevin because the character he was RPing was really fucking dumb. Latest episode of that is really fun, and we talked a big old nerd into not letting himself become a vampire. I don't know how well we actually
Not
did
as
at that,
successfully as we had hoped.
No, not really. No. Yeah, so keep an eye out on that. It is on YouTube at Crow and Chimera, and you can also follow me. I usually tweet when it's going live. And that's most of my stuff. Scott, do you want to close this out?
Yeah. So the next game that will be on this channel will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we continue our Ghost of Saltmarsh adventures, where a certain pirate in the group has to deal with their old friend Slim. And they're trying to get some information off of him.
That fucking guy.
Yeah. That fucker. But, so that'll be tomorrow at 7 on this channel. And then I guess the next game after that will be our Wednesday Rainbow the Frostmaiden games.
Yeah. So this time next week is going to be Vaccine Crew. And they have cornered a certain somebody and stun locked her. So we're going to see what the results of that are going to be.
Nah, we'll be fine.
They're doing combat at the beach?
Nah.
They rolled initiative, but there was no contact.
There's not going to be much
made.
combat when they're done with her.
Land sharks, I hope?
No.
Nah, there's just...
No, the
there's
last
just
time we were at that beach was land sharks, and I'm not doing that to them. Scott did that to me already.
Land sharks. Cyberus wants to meet a land shark.
That is actually... No, it
die.
wasn't a land shark. It was a...
Did you hear that?
What did she say?
I want to die.
I mean, tell her if she
No.
wants to die, she can just come meet Corruption Crew.
It
We will
was a
absolutely
Gorgon
do
that
that
you threw
for
at
her.
us on that
Only
lake,
one of us
wasn't
has
it?
died.
A gorgon on the beach?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't on the beach. That was on the way to this mysterious tower.
Oh.
That was on the same island. But anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. If you feel like a big old nerd, you can check back in campaign 1 shit, some of which got referenced tonight. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in October. I think
Oh
October?
my god, really?
Yeah, time
What
flies.
happened to this year?